So welcome everyone to our Master Consult webinar. Today's topic is how Robert Bürkle streamlined their processes with Smartsheet. I'm happy to host this webinar. It will be recorded, and after the webinar, the link will be shared with all of you. Next slide, please. Please let me share the agenda of today's webinar. I will start with a quick introduction of myself, Master Consult, and our amazing panelists. Then we will hear insights from our first panelist about business challenge they faced before they used Smartsheet. This will be followed by a demo from our second panelist, who will demonstrate tailored solution we built for our customer. He will show workflows, dashboards, project provisioning and control center, including projects, intake process and approval process. And next slide, please. Okay, let's start with introductions. So my name is Maxim Lobko. I'm founder of Master Consult and super happy to host this webinar today. I have been building Smartsheet for almost 6 years for customers from different industries and areas. In 2023, I founded Master Consult as one-man show, and today we have 6 wonderful team members. We are Smartsheet Gold Solution Partner, which means that we have proven expertise and continuously demonstrated success solving customer issues, delivering customer solutions across different industries and issue areas. All our team members bring actually decades of expertise across diverse industries and roles. We speak multiple languages. All our team members are Smartsheet certified, and we have experience developing and delivering tailored Smartsheet solutions. At Master Consult, we are saying your requirements are our priorities, and this is not just words for us, but this is what drives us. We aim to deliver added value to our clients, helping them to achieve operational excellence and successfully implement digital transformation within given budget constraints. And in addition to Smartsheet, our area of expertise spans from traditional and agile project management through operational excellence, Lean Six Sigma, to AI and data science. So we resell Smartsheet licenses, provide instructor-led Smartsheet trainings, build Smartsheet solutions and integrations, as well as Smartsheet applications, like, for example, document analysis with Smartsheet and Azure AI. But we can talk about those applications next time. So now please let me introduce our panelists. Next slide, please. So today we have a privilege to host one of our valuable clients. It is David Cledon from Robert Bürkle GmbH. Hi, David. Thank you very much for joining. How are you?
Hi, Maxim. Doing well. So maybe a few words about myself. David Cledon is my name. I'm the head of corporate development at Bürkle. I'll say a few more words about what the company does in the upcoming section. But yes, basically I'm in charge of the overall corporate strategy and also the strategic improvement projects, which one of them was to introduce this Smartsheet solution. So I'm looking forward today to tell you about how our work with Masa was and how our experience with Smartsheet has been in the past, I think, 2 years that we have been using the tool and steadily developing it further.
Thank you very much, David, for your introduction. Great to have you as a panelist here today. And our second panelist is Senior Project Manager and our certified Smartsheet consultant and Smartsheet overachiever, Tomasz Kowalski. Hi, Tomasz.
Hello, Maxim. Hello, everyone. My name is Tomasz. I'm located in Poland. And since 2019, I worked as an IT project manager. But in 2019, I was introduced to Smartsheet, and I decided somehow to elevate my career. And I also became a Smartsheet specialist and solution maker. So since 2019, which is like 6 years, I mostly do the Smartsheet solutions, which is a great pleasure for me to do as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Tomasz. Great to have you as well in our webinar. Now, next slide, please. So let's now dive into the business challenge that Bürkle faced before they started using Smartsheet. David, maybe you can give us a bit a bit of context, what Bürkle is and what it is doing.
Sure. Maybe let's start with a few words about what the company actually does. So it's a company with a history of over 100 years. It's located in the Black Forest, and it's, I would say, a prototype of a German machine building company. You can see some of them in my background, actually. There's different business areas. One could be summarized maybe as the coating and painting solutions. So these are large coating lines and spray coating lines where, for example, your Kallax IKEA furniture gets painted. Which is historically coming very strongly from the woodworking, furniture, flooring, and door industries. And then there's another business division, which is lamination technologies. So these are very large lamination lines where, for example, you produce solar panels. So where you have the lamination of the different glass sheets of these that these panels are made of. It's very big lines. They weigh 220 tons and are up to several hundred meters long. So that means we are basically in the business of building very large, expensive, and customer-specific products in many cases. I mean, we do also have smaller businesses, smaller machines, but the challenge was always the project management on these large and highly complex projects. So obviously that means these projects are running over several years. It's project volumes of tens of millions of euros. So you need a very strong project management to manage the delivery of all the different departments, the contract negotiations in the beginning, then the engineering, sourcing, manufacturing, delivery, commissioning, and so on of these lines. So you need a strong project management, clearly, and you need a project manager that manages these projects and project end to end. And I would say we always had some pretty well-defined processes for this. Of course, there's an order fulfillment process. Milestones and gates and handover points were defined. But if you looked a bit at the IT landscape that supported this project management, I would say it was well done in terms of contents. People knew how to work with it, how it looks. The look and feel was well accepted, but it was a bit old-fashioned, to put it that way. So it was in Excel files, and these Excel files, they were on shared drives. And, since it's this old type of shared folder, you had to use a VPN to access it. There was no way to, as a project manager, when you're at the clients, quickly get your smartphone and check the project schedule to confirm some dates or note an open point or something. That just wasn't possible. There was a lot of sending Excel files around, and also in Excel files, it's not very robust. You don't know who deleted what and who modified what, and these things get sent around. You could get confused with the versioning. Also, it's not connected, of course. So you have another shared folder basically where you put your important emails, and I would say this is not really the best way to work today, where everything is nicely integrated. Where tasks are directly linked to reminder emails, where you can have a link between files and specific milestones and tasks. So really, I would say, integrated project management tool. And that was a bit our challenge, to build a project management tool. And I think maybe to give a bit of context why we ended up with Smartsheet, I think that was for us the way to keep the sort of well-working old structure and look and feel and put it in a new modern tool with all these capabilities we were looking for, and not having to basically change our way of working to make it fit to an off-the-shelf project management solution, but to sort of be able to just transfer it to a more modern, more flexible platform and to build from there, and still get our well-integrated and connected project management platform. So that's the challenge we were coming from, and it's a challenge we, I think, in 2023 started to address together with Masa Consultant to build this tool. And today we're at the point that we are steadily expanding it.
That that the change management process is always the critical part of the transformation. So maybe can you share, how did you actually select, Smartsheet, and why did you decide, to use the tool?
So I would say Smartsheet, it sort of went viral in the organization. So I think it was our CEO actually that back a few years ago just got a few Smartsheet licenses, and then people were just improvising with it. They were just, making their own ad hoc project management tools. And it was used for one or two specific projects that sort of had their parallel version Smartsheet, but it was all a bit improvised and DIY solutions. So we already had sort of a little pilot of Smartsheet where we knew this works pretty well. This is quite easy to teach people to use with. And even though we had nobody that, that actually really knew what they were doing, we were able to sort of build a little solution that actually worked, and it wasn't bad at all. So we thought, okay, since it's already there, and it's working, and it's quite simple, and it's not complicating things, and think we can roll this out quite quickly. Why don't we, take this and build a, I would say, official project management solution in Smartsheet that is then really, really used for every project. So this is how we basically selected Smartsheet, and then also found Masa to support us, because I think that was important that we had an expert that already had some experience. Because of course, then when it got to more advanced features like blueprints, control center, these were things where we needed some support to do it efficiently. So I think it was a very logical and natural way that it evolved. The program was already there, people knew it, and now we just had to take it to the next level and build a real official rolled out tool with trainings for everybody. This is how we selected Smartsheet.
Thank you for sharing this. So maybe we should go to to the next slide and talk about actually the solution that was built. So Tomasz, why not you start with actual demo, because I think this is the most interesting part for the attendees to see what the solution was built, and then we can have a discussion with David about it.
Definitely. So when Bürkle approached us a couple of years ago and they told us their requirements for how they wanted their projects to look like, when we saw how many templates they are using for their project management, the first that came to our head was they need to go into the control center. Control center, a few words about this solution by Smartsheet. Is so-called also a project management dream, because with only one button, we can copy a lot of templates and create project based on that. So the most important is always like how company is setting up the templates, what they need for their project. Control Center is also a collaboration between Smartsheet and McDonald's. So when McDonald's many years ago approached Smartsheet and they said that they need to have a solution that whenever they are opening a new restaurant, everything should be created with the new only one button. And those are pretty complicated projects, which means a lot of templates like risk logs, project plan, minutes, everything that they wanted to handle. Everything should be automatically created only with one click button, and there should be not a lot of manual work. So maybe I will start sharing you and explaining what actually is Control Center and what it exists of, the parts of the Control Center. So the Control Center consists of three parts. The most important one is so-called intake sheet. The intake sheet is a typical, it looks like a spreadsheet, but this is how Smartsheet looks like. The intake sheet is the first sheet that captures the basic information regarding the project. So here we have the informations like, for example, the project name, the machine that will be used in the case of Bürkle, the project requester, and so on. And the data to the intake sheet, mostly, but not always, is provided by using the forms. In Bürkle situation, we also have a form here. So let me just open the form. So this is a typical form in Bürkle that is used to initiate new projects. So whenever the data from the form is in the intake sheet, automatically it can start provisioning new project, which means it will copy entire blueprint. And in Bürkle case, there are like 56 templates that are being used each time when the new project is created. So you can see here we have the dashboard, we have the meeting participant, we have in Bürkle it's called a list of open points, LOP. We have project charter, we have deviation list, we have the risks dashboards, we have a lot of reports as well. Here, if we go deeper, I don't want to go so deep not to share too much information regarding Bürkle, but believe me, there are like 56 files or templates each time used when the new project is provisioned. So this data as a blueprint, once it's created, then the data is automatically connected and everything goes into the project summary sheet. And such project summary sheet is mostly used in the portfolio dashboard. So for the top management to see how the projects are, like what is the status of the projects, what is the health of the project, how they are progressing, what are the start and end date, everything can be seen in the portfolio dashboard. So let me just start with our project. So I already pre-filled this form here because I don't want to waste too much time for our viewers on how the project is created. So here in Bürkle, we have the form that is connected with the intake sheet. As I said before, we have to choose the requester, the project name, final customer, it's already pre-filled, and so on and so on. Everything that is needed by Bürkle is already pre-filled here. Of course, I put some dummy data here, and so on and so on. And at the bottom, we have a submit button. We can also upload a file if it's required by the business to such a form, but I call this customer number 9. And if I submit it now, it goes into our intake sheet. Let me just refresh it. I can go here and maybe here and here again just to refresh it. As you can see, the customer number 9 is now in our list. And how Smartsheet is also working, the biggest beauty I would always say about Smartsheet is the automation. So whenever a new request for the project is in our intake sheet, we can set up here the automation for the people to approve it. Before it can be provisioned in the control center, so before all those blueprint files are copied and connected for this specific project, we need to approve it first. In control center, it works this way, that it's waiting for this data here, SC approved, to be filled. And this is a typical form used here. So it's waiting for, maybe I can also show it into the edit mode. It's checking whether the order column is not empty, whether the approval is approved, and whether the status of approval is also approved. So it's waiting for those 3 columns to be filled. And how it is being resolved in Bürkle, once such a project is in the intake sheet added by the project requester, then a special group here, I think it was called, let me just show you, Sales Back Office. Sales Back Office get a request for update, which is a special email form when they are asked, please approve this project so it can be provisioned. I also open here my mail. So this is the email that is being sent to such a group over there. And it's written here, a new project request was added into intake sheet. And please add fulfill those 3 requirements. So if I open this now, I have information regarding this project. All I have to do now is to mark the star here. This is how it was requested by Bürkle. I need to go into the approved status of the project, and I need to put anything for the quote, let's say P0, whatever, and something for the inquiry can be the same. So this is all the information regarding this project. It's edit mode for me because I'm admin of this sheet, so normally I can see it, but in Smartsheet we can set it up that only the required fields are open, everything else would be blocked. If I submit the update, and if I go back now into this sheet, in a couple of seconds, if I refresh it, as you can see, all this data is being filled now. And the most important, we have inquiry, we have quote, we have the start to create the project. Here we have approval status as approved. If we go now to our special column that is needed for our control center, it already filled itself automatically, which means that this project is ready for approval. In Bürkle, provisioning of the projects, which is copying all those files and adding the project manager, giving the permissions and setting everything in such a project, is done automatically. So whenever this checkbox fills itself, automatically such a project is being created and we don't have to do anything. But for our demo today, I will show how simple it is to create a new project if we want to do it manually. As you can see here, those are the sample 8 projects that were created for our demo as well. Let me just go now to the
Thomas, just a quick question, where, so not to interrupt you, but these SCC, these special columns that triggers project provisioning. So there was like formula. This is something that you have customized for Bürkle, right? So because maybe you can explain a little bit, about the flexibility they have. So because the process, we implemented here is very specific to, for Bürkle. But in general, there are several ways of freedom.
Exactly. So when we were having those workshops with Bürkle, it was agreed that for the project to be approved, it needs to go through the approval of the different teams. Like, for example, in Bürkle, we don't have the CFO or CTO or CEO involved into project approval, right? We have only this one team, which is called, one more time, let me just show you. It was called Sales Back Office. So Sales Back Office is informed whenever the new project needs to be created, so they can open this form, fill it, and automatically it's being the formula is filling this checkbox here. So for Bürkle, it was important to have everything set up as their business is working. So the emails are going to the proper people, and proper people have access to it, and they can see and they can approve such project. So for example, I did everything in one email, but this column here, this create project or the status approval, can be approved by 2 different departments. This quote here or the inquiry can be also filled by the different department. So for our demo today, I had to squeeze everything into one email to approve everything. But normally those are 4 different departments who are deciding whether the project can be approved. As you can see here also, if it goes for the approval status, we have different statuses, right? But only if it's approved, then it goes automatically into provisioning.
Maybe I can say also a few words from the business perspective to give context. So for us, it was important that the solution here already starts at the quoting phase. So before we actually won the project, when we are doing the line concepts and preparing the quotes for the customer and the pricing and so on. So these are phases that can take years if you're building a huge line. There's a lot of engineering that goes into it even before you win the project. And for us, it was important that this solution is also covering that, and that we have the risk assessments that you're doing in the beginning. So of course, before you sign a contract, you need to know what the technical risks is, what could go wrong, what the contractual risks are. Are there any penalties in there if we don't deliver in time? Are there any technical requirements the customer has that are really high and really difficult to implement? So all this as a risk management and approvals in the beginning before we sign a contract with a customer to deliver lines for tens of millions of euros. Of course, you need to have very structured processes because the legal risks in the end are very high. So this is why we have some approval processes, and I would say the risk management from the earliest phase here in Smartsheet. And for us, it was a great benefit to be actually able to really customize this. And also to have the continuity, because a lot of things are already clarified and discussed and engineered in this quotation phase. And so we need to have continuity from, I would say, the sales side and the sales engineering side to the project delivery side. So it really helps us to have these workflows and a continuous solution.
Thank you. Maybe to give participants the perspective on the time savings through this solution. Can you share with us how how much time did it take to set up customer project in the past?
I mean, with all these, without control center, basically would have been someone sitting there for anything between 15 and 30 minutes, copy pasting and changing the names and adjusting the numbers to create such an environment. And I think that was even before we expanded on the environment and they had some additional elements. And with quite a few, I think there's several every day. So it would have been somebody being busy basically an entire day per week, just copy pasting here in Smartsheet. So Control Center really helped to automatize this and to really do it efficiently with a project intake sheet in the beginning.
Yeah, thank you, Tomasz. Let's see how it actually works and how fast it is to create a new project. Project setup, let's say.
Definitely. Let's just refresh it. For our demo today, I also prepared a special blueprint. I call this blueprint webinar. And if I open that, we can see that they have like 56 templates that are being used in Bürkle to create a provision new project. So we just approved this customer number 9. So if we choose this from the list, we have already the data here. I will press next. It just asks us about the ownership. So we can just start creating. It can take up to 2 minutes because it's like, as I said, in Bürkle, there are 56 files that needs to be connected. So in the meantime, I will explain a bit how the system, how all those blueprints look like in Bürkle. So here we have the customer number 1 that I removed all the sensitive data, of course, and I put some dummy stuff. So please don't be shocked with my dummy stuff. We can start here with, for example, with the dashboard. And this is the typical dashboard that shows the information regarding the project. So here we have the project manager, and everything, of course, is taken from the intake sheet, right? So we put all this information regarding who is the project manager, who are those members. Everywhere is John Smith, of course, but normally those are employees, the team members of this project that are chosen for this project. We have the customer name here, we have the quote, we have what is the budget for the project. So everything is visible here in this dashboard. We also have the quick links. So all of that is generated automatically for each specific project. So all those links here that you can see, it's only for this specific project generated. We have here the division. So here we have some summary status of the project. So here we can also build the widgets. So that's how it works in Smartsheet, that you build the dashboard space of the widgets. So as Bürkle requested, there are 2 widgets to show the activities of how the actions are green on the project plan and so on, how many are on track, how many are not on track. Here we have, for example, the schedule overview. So we have the milestones. We can already see, and all this data is being taken from the project schedule. So automatically, as I'm repeating myself, all the data is always generated specifically for this project based on those 56 templates that we used for this specific project. So here we have some information regarding the milestones. Here we have the upcoming payments for the project with the dates and the health. Here we have the risk overview. So here for our demo, I created some risks to show how many some sample risks for this project associated. So not enough information to create the quote, how it's impacting. Everything is taken always from our, maybe I can open it, from our risk template. So project managers are always updating the risk here after the meetings, how Bürkle is working, and all this data automatically is being taken to our dashboard. So we had the risks. Here we had the cost overview. That is only like, I didn't fill it because I don't want to show any stuff. And here we have also the elements of the list of points. So for example, we can see the overdue LOP items. So something that the end date is in the past. So for example, if we have the actions, issues, risks, or anything that is being planned for this project and the due date is in the past, but it's not closed, it will be shown here. The what I like about Smartsheet is that we can build whatever dashboard is needed by the business. So Bürkle wanted to have those kind of widgets here, those kind of information. But of course, every business has different important stuff that they want to see for their project management. So such a dashboard here, we can edit as different widgets, and we can just add those information, move those, give reports, and so on. I can spend an entire day explaining how Smartsheet works, so I will not spend so much time on that. So I will just discard those changes. Here we have, for example, project charter that was also generated for this project. So all this information is being taken here from the intake sheet, and also during the project when it's being executed and the project managers are updating data, all this is also coming here into this project charter. Here we have some LOPs, as I was telling before. For example, for the LOPs, we also have a form. So if someone wants to add a new issues or risk to our list of points, they can add it with the form. Here we have our risk register. So here we have the risks. If there is someone in our team who wants to submit a new risk, we have a form for that. So everything is set up as Bürkle wanted to have it. Here we have the change request, change list, and so on and so on. I can spend an entire day also explaining how difficult or complicated it is to have all the templates for Bürkle, but I think we have enough time just to show that the new project was generated for us. Let me just go to our intake sheet again and see whether our project was created. Yes, as you can see now for the project number 9, we have here the link. So it means it will take us to, if I press it now, it will take us to the dashboard of project number 9. So if people start working on this project, they have already dashboard prepared for that. And probably I got some notification as well. So I have information that there is a new project added. So for example, this is a new automation regarding that the new project was provisioned and people can start working on it. So this is, as I said, fully customizable, and we can tailor the projects for the need of the business. What else we see here in the intake sheet? Also, we can connect it with the resource management. We don't use the resource management in Bürkle, but if someone wants to use resource management, it also is possible to connect the projects with the resource management. So those were the two parts of the control center. So we were discussing the intake sheet, where we have the initial information regarding the project. We have the blueprint, which is the set of the templates that we want to populate and connect the data. And then at the end, we have so-called summary sheet. And summary sheet is just another sheet that is also a crucial part of the control center. And in the summary sheet, we have all the information that is coming directly from the project. So for example, when the project managers are already working on the project, as you can see, it's still being refreshed here. So all this data here is actually coming from the project itself. So for example, if we have any project delays and there is a change in the variance, it's not visible here, but we can also see in the portfolio summary sheet. We see how the project is changing with the life, and such a portfolio we can also add to such a dashboard. So we can show, for example, for our top management, how we are progressing with all the files, how much budget is being spent for each project, if we have any variance for the budget being spent for the project. Everything comes here to the portfolio summary sheet.
Tomasz, there are many assets, and a lot of components to this solution. And I know this was like a big change, for Bürkle, and David and the team. So maybe David, can you share, like how project managers and head of department evaluate this, and which difficulties did the business face adopting this solution?
Actually, I think we faced fairly little difficulties adopting it. So there were some internal training sessions showing people how everything works, but for most casual users, they're mostly in the project dashboard and the LOP. So it's really, it looks here like it's a very complicated solution with lots of sheets, but in the end, many things are a bit in the back end, and the project manager is doing his work in there. But for most users in most departments, They will look at the project, at the dashboard as the summary of the overall project. They will maybe put some things in the risk register, or go into the list of open points, or maybe also check the project schedule. But I would say they have a handful of these reports and sheets that they need to use, and the rest is under the hood, so quite easy for them to use. And we had, I think it was half a day, the training session for the persons to train them in the new solution, and that's it. So the rollout was actually pretty easy and smooth. So I would say that's a really big advantage, because while you see that we have a quite complex solution with a lot of different elements and sheets and so on, in the end, because the whole thing still wasn't super different from Excel, we were able to train people quite quickly. We could still use many of the old elements that we had in the structures, and we didn't have to, teach them a completely different tool. Maybe some questions were around, okay, how do I find things? Do I really need a license? Some many minor confusions in the beginning, but apart from that, the rollout was very easy for this tool.
Yeah, thank you.
And I just wanted also to add what is one of the biggest advantages of control center comparing to typical project management tool that is manual are the global updates. So for example, and I know that for Bürkle, there are already 200 projects provisioned with control center. Whenever there is any need required, like for example, we need to add a new column to our project schedule. Maybe I will maybe manage to show it here. If I go, for example, to our project schedule, and for example, for our project schedule, we need to have a new column. Like, I don't know, we have here location, and we can add a new column called status of budget. And we can have a new column. It's possible now with Control Center to have so-called global updates, and we add it only in the first template, and automatically such column is added to all the 200 projects. For example, if we have our project dashboard, I will not save it now. If we have our project dashboard and we want to add a new widget, so we can, for example, go into edit mode and add a new widget, for example, to show us the budget, we add it only in one template, and automatically it's being added to all the 200 dashboards for the project management. So it makes life much easier. And the last part, and the biggest advantage, one of the advantages of Control Center is the archiving. So for example, when the life of the project is over and we don't want to keep such information regarding this project, like how much time was spent with the variance, the risks, we can, with one button, archive the project, and it's being like closed, removed from our reporting. So the Control Center, comparing to the manual work in project management, gives those advantages that everything can be done automatically. And I think that would be all from my side. Let me just go into the...
And also it made first things easy to find. So everything is in one place. And we have, for example, we have a report where you open and you have all ongoing quotes on an overview. You can just open this. I have favorited this report. I go in there. And then I basically jump from there to the project environment of a specific project. And in the past, if you remember, it's a shared drive. There's tons of different folders, but you cannot filter these folders by what is an ongoing project and what is already closed. So you set up need to know where to go, and this is something that's really helpful to have these overviews. So,
David, and you said, how long did it take? How much time you spent in the past, to set up the project. So, could you give a feeling, of the measurable outcomes, out of this transformation?
I mean, it's always a bit difficult. So I would say if we just focus it on Control Center, yes, of course, we will have somebody that's busy a day or two every week just copy pasting things. It's obviously a benefit, and you can quantify this in terms of money. The biggest benefit for us is difficult to measure because it's the things that didn't go wrong because we had an integrated solution, in the projects, because people were reminded on time to close their tasks, because the right files were found at the right time, because the emails were connected with some open actions, because we had a risk management that was always up to date. So since there's no counterfactual world in which we still used Excel to compare one project done in Smartsheet with the exact same in Excel, because no project is the same. So it's hard to quantify how much it helped there, but subjectively, it did a lot, because things are really transparent now. It's very easy to find things. You can access them all the time. So I would say in terms of mitigating risks and errors, this saved a lot overall for us.
And I remember also, when I implemented, the very first version of the solution, actually before Control Center was introduced, I remember the feedback from one of the project managers, who was so happy that he, in his, meeting with a customer on site, he could immediately, use the form, and track actions. So, and they were submitted in the tool. So I think this qualitative improvement was also.
Yes, that's the most important part for us, this qualitative improvement, and also strategically. I'm really seeing now that since we have this nucleus in Smartsheet where every quote and every project is in there, it's very easy in Smartsheet to start building from there. If you say, hey, I would like to have another module that helps me in an even earlier phase to track some sales topics. I would like to have a link to our ERP to get a cost tracking in there that is up to date. So since the solution is pretty flexible, every time you sort of need another little tool to work with, that is maybe 1 or 2 sheets, these are really easy to implement once you have Smartsheet, because it is so flexible. So I think that's a very nice thing, that you can build a sort of landscape of little tools and sheets that is a bit like your old Excel landscape with all the stuff you improvise quickly, but it doesn't have the downsides. It's still connected. There's still digital data continuity. There's a single source of truth. You can connect it properly to an ERP and so on. So I would say it's something that is very nice to build a customized landscape of sheets and solutions and little tools that helps in the day-to-day business, without being in an old world where you have big tools that are expensive to customize, where you have to change your processes to fit the tool. So there's quite a new level of flexibility, and also then with Control Center, everything was, I would say, for most users, really low effort. There's just a few that use Control Center to create a new project and so on. And for the rest, it's just they go to their dashboards, they immediately see the important projects for them, and then they can just go into the sheets and dashboards and find the data they need.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you, Thomas, for showing the demo, and David for sharing your insights. I'm sure it was interesting, for our participants. And I think it's time, for Q&A, and I recommend everyone to stay till the very end of the webinar, because this is where I will reveal a surprise, which I'm sure you will be interested to hear. And let's move to the next slide. So, and if you are with your mobile phone now, please do me a favor and scan these QR codes shown on this slide. So to find out more about Master Consult, and start following us on LinkedIn, because there will be more webinars in the future. And following us on LinkedIn, you will learn insights from us. And, we will be informed about our solutions and our webinars, and what we are going to highlight there. So please post your questions in the chat, and I will check if there are any questions posted. And while I'm checking this, David, maybe one question to you ahead of time is, you told about how it worked before Smartsheet was introduced. You shared with us how current solution was, but is this something that you could share also about, like, future plans with Smartsheet, and if you have any plans to leverage AI capabilities?
I think in So for us now, the next objective is to really have everything in Smartsheet, because of course we still have older projects that we're still running and we didn't want to do a migration, but this over time is solving itself. And then, I mean, as you see now, there's several smaller extensions and adaptations that are popping up that we're implementing. So we don't have like a big roadmap at the moment. But we all the time have some little ideas that with 1 or 2 days of effort we get implemented. So this is a bit the mode we are in now, which I would say is really nice because we have some flexibility for the business. So if, for example, I need a tool to visualize and track the quotes in a different way, it's quite quickly done. And it's still connected to everything else. So it's not, another list that I made in PowerPoint or Excel or something. So that's a bit of a way of working now. We collect all these little business needs and then we expand our solution. That's how we are working.
Thank you. And I encourage everyone to post your questions in Q&A section. So just click on the Q&A button and post your question, and I will address it. Okay.
And maybe one more information. So we have a plant in China that is focused on a specific type of industry, and basically we have 2 separate solutions at the moment, Smartsheet solutions. So we sort of have, they're like twins a bit, but with some differences. So that was also nice. We were able to customize to fork basically our solution into 2 different ones. And I think China is also using elements like resource management that are in the German plants are in the ERP. So this allowed us a bit to also fit the tools to our organization and the way things are going. And I think if we would have tried to make this all the same and put all of it in an existing solution that wasn't customized, it would have taken much longer because we would have had to review all of our processes, and that's the main benefit. So we could build something that is quite customized and quite complex, but without taking very long and without the usual downsides of customizing. So, many of you that have experience in IT know what happens if you start customizing some tools, then the next version update, nothing works anymore, and you sort of get stuck. So this is something that with Smartsheet we really were able to avoid.
There's one more question for you, and I will read this question. So, participant asking, I understand Smartsheet implementation, is for project management task. Will you extend this to mass production and logistics, like product delivery, etc.?
I'm not exactly sure what they mean, like tracking logistics or orders. I mean,
I'm think that the question goes in direction, are you have any plans, to expand the use of Smartsheet, outside of project management? This is how I understood the question. So to like other departments.
Yes, I mean, at the moment, we have some ideas maybe in procurement and quality. We're managing some audits in Smartsheet with some lists we've built. So there are a few, yes. So we're not in the business of mass producing anything, so this is not what we're using it for. But there are some applications in several different departments that are running at the moment, yes.
There is one more question from the same participant saying, what tools are used for? David, I'm not sure I understand this question. Maybe please can you repost the question, with a little bit more exploration, and then I will get back to it again. And in the meantime, I will go to the next question. Can this type of solution be set up without having control center, not currently in our company license setup? Well, I think I will address this question because actually, yes, and no, because this type of solution that we developed for Bürkle was developed before Control Center at the beginning. So, and we developed it, with automation in mind. But of course, there was, certain manual effort involved, to create, to copy new control template set, to link it into the reports, into the summary report. So the answer is yes, it can be set up with, without Control Center, but it depends, on the amount of, projects you're running, whether it makes sense or not. So my recommendation, if you like, we can have a separate discussion on this, and we can check, what will be the best solution for you. And I know this question is typical, because not everyone has a Control Center license.
Yes, I think we asked ourselves the same question, and I think so. For us also the question was because of course it made our licenses a bit more expensive. Do we really need this, or can we have people copy pasting it? And I think in the end nobody ever regretted getting it, and I'm pretty sure we would have much more issues with acceptance if you have copy paste errors, and things takes time because the person that is setting up these environments is on vacation or so on. And with Control Center this is now running seamlessly. Exactly.
Yeah. And I think the licenses pricing is also something that we as a partner help every customer to get to the pricing meeting their budget. So everyone who needs support, please reach out to us, and we will be happy to help. So let me see additional questions.
Maybe I can add something from myself to even go deeper with the previous question. Of course, we can set up without Control Center the project management with Smartsheet. But as you could see, for example, for Bürkle, it was like 56 different templates used for the project management. So it would be hell to actually work with all of those without Control Center. But if the company is small and they want to only use the Smartsheet license, and they, for example, for each project, they have only like basic, like RAID log, and they have project plan. Of course, it's possible to set up. So we can create the intake sheet. We can set up the automation that when the new project is approved, that someone is informed, please copy now by hand, save as new this entire folder with those files, and then connect the information from those files with the Smartsheet. It's only done once, so it's doable, but it always is this manual work that needs to be added. So Control Center is resolving this issue by making those connections automatically. Also, maybe it's worth mentioning, I hope it's not a problem for you, David, that I will share this information, but we are running now with David a new project also for Bürkle, because we decided to bring some data from the ERP system, which is financial data, also to the Smartsheet. So with Smartsheet, we have this tool which is called Data Shuttle, and with Data Shuttle, you can connect with the CSV files, separated values, or Excel. So we decided with David that for this financial information, like how much is being spent for each project, how much is being budgeted, we'll bring it from the ERP system of the Bürkle directly into Smartsheet. So everything will be in one tool, which is Smartsheet. And I think it's a pretty cool project that we are running now.
Yes, and actually it aligns well with the next question that I see from someone. The participant is asking what additional applications, other than Control Center is used by Bürkle, data mesh or data table or dynamic view.
I think you even know better than me. So we're now going to use Data Shuttle. We're using Control Center. Do we have any other that we are? Resource management is used in Taichung. Not sure if we use anything else.
Dynamic view. I recently discussed dynamic view with one of our colleagues, Petra, and she fell in love with the solution. Dynamic view for Smartsheet, for those who do not know it, is a solution that if you have one sheet and you want to share it with different groups, and with, for example, one group you only want to share columns, some columns, with other you want to share only rows, or for example, with one person you only want to share one cell, you can set it up with dynamic view that dynamically it will share the stuff that we really want from one sheet. So this is dynamic view. Data mesh is being used now. Document builder is being used now. So for example, if for the project that you mentioned before for these audits. So whenever the audits, the answers are being given, it's already in the Smartsheet, and then automatically it's being generated into the PDF with all those answers, and it's being sent to DocuSign, which is the electronic signature used also by Bürkle. So all the audit documents are being like automatically filled using Smartsheet and Document Builder and being sent to DocuSign for electronic signature. So those are the systems that are being used in Bürkle now.
Thank you. I'll say thank you to our dear panelists, for an insightful discussion, and to all of our webinar participants for your participation today, for your questions. Please reach out to us if you want to achieve more with Master Consult and Smartsheet, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.